Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you are new to my channel. So, today, of course, we're going to take a look at another horror movie from 1980. It's part of my overall 1980s horror series, an ongoing series on my channel for the next 10 years, probably. Now, these years have a lot of movies, man. I don't want to miss them, so it's going to take a while. Probably at least 2029 or something like that. But anyway, with that being said, hey, at least you know I'll have my channel for another 5 or 6 years. Um, the movie we're going to take a look at today is a Dario Argento movie, not necessarily a giallo, but it's a movie by a giallo director, and that movie is the second movie in a trilogy. And that movie is Inferno, which I have here on DVD. Sorry about the lighting, guys. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But yeah, Inferno's the second movie in the mother of the Three Mothers trilogy: Suspiria, Inferno, and then Mother of Tears, which I believe came out like 27 years after this movie. Haven't seen it, don't own it, so I heard it wasn't very good. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get into Inferno. And I had this is just an Anchor Bay edition on the DVD, so um, for Inferno here. So of course, I have reviewed Suspiria a couple years ago on my channel from 1977, that Argento film, if you want to check that out. But Inferno is a 1980 Italian supernatural horror film written and directed by Dario Argento. The plot follows a young man's investigation into the disappearance of his sister, who had been living in a New York City apartment building that also served as a home for a powerful, centuries old witch. The cinematography was by Romano Albani, and Keith Emerson composed the film's musical score. So basically, the movie, we're introduced to Rose Elliott, a poet living alone in New York City's Upper West Side, purchases a book from an antique dealer titled The Three Mothers. The book, written by the alchemist named Varelli, tells of three evil sisters who rule the world with sorrow, tears, and darkness, and dwell inside separate homes that had been built for them by the alchemist. Rose suspects that she is living in Mater Tenebraeum's Tenebraeum's building and writes to her brother Mark, a music student in Rome, urging him to visit her. Using the clues provided in the book, Rose searches the cellar of her building and discovers a hole in the floor which leads to a water filled ballroom. She accidentally drops her key and enters the water to find them. After she reclaims the keys and begins swimming back up, several putrid corpses rise from the depths, frightening her. Rose manages to swim out and flee. In Rome, Mark attempts to read Rose's letter during class. He is distracted by the intense gaze of a beautiful female student holding a fluffy cat. She leaves suddenly at the end of class. Mark follows, leaving the letter behind. His friend Sarah picks up the letter and later reads it. Horrified by the letter's contents, she takes a taxi to a library and finds a copy of The Three Mothers. Trying to find her way out, Sarah becomes lost in the library basement, finds a room filled with boiling cauldrons. She is attacked there by a monstrous figure who recognizes the book. She throws the book to the ground and escapes. So yeah, that's the setup and the premise for Inferno from 1980. As far as the cast goes, I'm going to do my best on these names. We have Lee McCloskey as Mark Elliott, Irene Miracle as Rose Elliott, uh, Eleonora Giorgi as Sarah, Dario Nicolodi as Elise the Long Veil Elder, and Sasha Pitoff as Kazanian. That's the antique dealer. I'm sure I'm probably butchering that name too, but that's the setup and the premise and the cast for the 1980 Dario Argento film Inferno. Um, so I'd actually seen this movie a while ago on Shudder, a couple years ago. Obviously, I didn't do a review for it or anything on my channel, but I remember. I think I actually saw this one before Suspiria, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember kind of being blown away by it. Certain scenes and sequences and just everything that was kind of going on, the ending and everything. So I definitely wanted to pick it up and add it to my collection. And the question that you'll find out in about 5 or 10 minutes is, should I try to upgrade? Do I want to upgrade this movie from a standard DVD to like a Blu-ray or a better not copy. What's the word I'm looking for? Issue? No. Um, release. There we go, like a Blu-ray release with more special features because this really only has widescreen presentation. You do have an interview with Dario Argento, theatrical trailer, still gallery, and talent bios, but nothing like you get a lot of times in the Vinegar Syndrome collections or the Scream Factory collection. So I don't know. I'm sure Inferno's got better releases of it. So I might have to check that out. We'll see though if I like the movie enough. So let's start with the pros or the things that I liked about Inferno. You have to say, much like Suspiria, the visuals and the color palette used in this movie is absolutely fantastic, with a lot of vibrant reds and blues combining into some purples as well. It's such an easy movie to watch, so easy on the eyes, and yeah, it's kind of like watching an artist basically. It's just these different colors they throw at the screen. And Suspiria was very much like that as well. So I really enjoy that aspect of the movie, and that certainly stands out here. I do enjoy the mystery aspect of this movie, how it starts out with this book that one woman in New York and then another woman in Rome ends up checking out of the library and kind of investigating with it. All the way to, the alternate settings between Rome and New York, to these characters all of a sudden being killed and who's killing them, and trying to trying to figure out the whole thing before the movie actually lets us know. Um, it was fun and engaging from that standpoint. I thought I really liked that mystery aspect of the movie. So that was definitely a pro. The movie does have some nice twists and turns, especially in the third act, that I enjoyed and I thought worked pretty well. It definitely helps ratchet up the suspense and tension, leading to the final conclusion. So that's definitely something. And the final conclusion's pretty tense, like the last 10 or 15 minutes, when you get these reveals and then kind of how it goes from there. Um, it earns its word Inferno. Let's just leave it at that. So I really enjoyed the score of the movie as well, especially the scene towards the end where Mark is exploring the underground crawl space, and the score and the music gets all crazy, but it's very it's kind of easy to follow, and it's almost like operatic, almost like really loud and sort of spectacular. Um, but I really liked it. I really liked the score in this movie. And then I have to say that my favorite scene of the movie is early. Like a lot of people, it's the underwater sequence. I just love that sequence, not just because you have those dead bodies that pop up, even though that was a nice nod to Jaws there. When they're investigating that boat that has the bottom torn out in the original Jaws, and all of a sudden you got that face that pops in there. It's kind of like that in here. But I just really enjoyed the scene, the look of it, the beauty of it, the suspense of it, just kind of everything about it, because you don't see a lot of horror scenes like that. So that was really well shot, really well done. And then my final pros, I think the kills are pretty solid here. Not all of them are on screen. Some of them are left more to the imagination, but the ones that are on screen, like there's one kill that's pretty brutal where um, I believe I think it's Rose, isn't it? Or is it Elise? One, either Rose or Elise ends up basically she gets her head pulled back. Somebody grabs her head and pulls it back into this open window, and then they take like the window that's like it's got shards on the bottom because it's been broken out, and like stab her in the neck a few times. They don't actually do it right away though. They wait and then they take it down to like right about here, and then they pull it up again, and then they start stabbing her with it. So that was a pretty intense kill there. Lots of blood. I wouldn't say a lot of blood or gore in this movie, but it certainly has that. It has that Italian blood in it that you're expecting. So some on-screen violence and blood for sure, which I thought worked well for the movie. So those are my pros for Inferno. As far as cons go, I think the biggest con for this movie, especially in comparing it to the previous one in Suspiria, is the structure of this movie just isn't nearly as tight or as well put together as Suspiria was. It feels more discombobulated and disjointed, and I felt that watching it. It didn't really feel like there was a solid through line for the story here or the structure of it and how it was being presented. Now, some of that might be the fact that Dario Argento didn't direct, I don't think, every scene in this movie because he was sick with hepatitis at the time that this movie was being made. So I think Mario Bava even came in and helped. He might have even directed a couple scenes. I'm not sure which ones. But so I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt there, but still, I did feel the structure was a lot more off with this movie as compared to Suspiria. It just wasn't quite as easy to watch. It wasn't, not to say it was difficult to watch. I was definitely engaged in the mystery and the colors and the visuals and everything. But as far as the story being told, it was more discombobulated. So that definitely stood out to me from a negative standpoint. There, just a fair warning, there is some animal cruelty scenes having to do with cats that I felt was a bit unnecessary for the story. But also, I'm just giving that warning because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like animal cruelty in horror movies. So I could have done without it. Although there is a sequence after that that really made me squirm, having to do with rats too. That was pretty rough to watch, but for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. Uh, I have to say too, my final con is I wasn't overly enamored with our main character of Mark. I didn't feel a strong connection towards him or what he was experiencing. It just kind of felt like a bland character. And, Lee McCloskey, I'm not sure what else he's been in, but I don't think he brought the best to it either. But it might have been the way the character was written too. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't have a strong, for a main character in Argento movie, I didn't have a strong connection to him the way I did to the gal from Suspiria. I forget what was her name. She's an American actress. I can't think of her name in the movie or the actress's name at the moment. Oh, Kelly Harper, I think, isn't it? Something Harper. I think that's right. So yeah, that was kind of a disappointment too. So it's definitely not a perfect movie, but for an Argento film, I still really enjoyed it, and I think I am going to look to upgrade this release. Not that this doesn't look good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this DVD. I'm just going to see if there's there's more like a Blu-ray collector's edition, something like that has more special features because this is a movie that's on that level, in my opinion. Even though it's not quite on the level of Suspiria from an Argento standpoint or from this trilogy standpoint, it's not far off, and I still have a really good time watching this film. So I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10 for Inferno, 8 out of 10 for Dario Argento's Inferno from 1980. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think of Inferno. Do you like it more than Suspiria, less? Why or why not? Down in the comments below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this overall 1980s horror series, particularly the rest of this month, to finish up the year of 1980, as well as my other great horror content, including summer DVD horror movies, which will be coming out in August. I'm going to have a series on that. So, with that being said, I hope everybody's enjoying this review series. Hope you're doing well, but as always, stay scared. Bye.